So firstly, we will start with privatization of extension, market-led extension, and innovative approaches. This is very new topic. Generally, the question that in examination they asked with 10 question marks, 5 question marks, basically for mains examination. But at present situation, they generally ask for this multiple choice question also, like in this type of model is working for what type of extension, or write the or pick the example of private extension, public-private partnership, what is the statistic of these things, and some similar tasks. So firstly, we will start with privatization of extension. Privatization of extension, that everybody knows that privatization is something that are running with private players in the section. So in extension, we need a proper definition for everything. So firstly, we will start with what is privatization actually. So according to Savage 1987, he defined this privatization as an art of reducing the role of government or increasing the role of private sector in activity or in the ownership assets. So here they are saying that they are reducing the role of government. Means government cannot reach everywhere at every time. So if some part is dealing with private players that like consultancy part are making something which are new to our system, which are which requires a mass reach. So these type of private players can help in reducing the work of government, and majorly the ownership remains generally with the government players. So privatization is the art of reducing the role of government or increasing the role of private sector in any of activity or in ownership of any assets. Then why this privatization has come as an issue for extension? Because there are a number of issues which can be taken for privatization of extension, majorly as you can say, there are some lacuna with our government extension also. So two of our extension scientists from our country, Mr. Suleiman was working as a scientist in Hyderabad, and Vivi Sadamurthy, as you all know, the farmers and culture advisor to Planning Commission. He said they suggested that there are some rationales for private extension in India, like there are inadequate reach to the extension functionary. This means these extension functionary has been loaded with works; they cannot reach to every sections of community. So that is why there is a adequate reach to the extension functionaries, and there is a growing dissatisfaction with the extension advisory services. All the time when the farmers needed that particular advisory, they don't come at a time. That's why the farmers are they are moving towards the private sector. Those who are providing, although they are providing some of them are providing free and some of them providing as a paid services also. But the things like that farmers should be rich with the knowledge, with the information, so that his loss will be minimized. So and recently the extension farmers ratio has also been seen very low, like around there are upon one extension functionary there are 5,000 of number of farmers who have been dependent for every type of services. So that extension functions cannot reach to the 5,000 of farmers at a time. That's why there are the less number of reaching by the system. And similarly, there are recent development in the mass media also, which are not majorly implemented with the government agencies at a time wherever it is needed to the farmers. Increasing specialization among the farmers has also been one of the reasons for privatization of extension, because these private sector, they are always doing their works majorly in research. They are coming with the new technology on a specific problem of the farmers, and There are a number of input companies or other private companies which are taking part in transfer of technology, which majorly, if you can see in India, majorly the private company now they are coming with the CSAR fund also. They are taking part in agriculture as a CSIR partner. They are providing every advisory, every view of things to the farmers. There are a number of seed fertilizer companies also, IFCOs and IFCO, they are one of the leading companies in fertilizers. And there is a certainly there is a rise in a number of NGOs who are working in rural development. They are providing the specific guidelines, specific schemes, and specific input services to the farmers. So that's why the number of farmers who are moving towards the private section, and they need that particular type of advisories. Commercialization is one of the reasons, and similarly, this all has been this all has been resulted into the loss in the credibility of public education system. And similarly, there are number of crops, and there are number due to climate change, you can say also, and due to some other factors, you can say there are number of things which are changing the patterns of farming and perfect farming also. So that's why we need the privatization of extension. What are the assumptions behind extension? This extension is generating new income. Extension become an economic input according to this privatization of extension. Why we need extension as a private player? And it is providing a demand-driven services to the farmers, and they are increasing the voice of the farmers in the extension services, because although we are seeing that farmers is the first, farmers is the center of any activity in the extension, but when you are going to involve the farmers at the center, all the things are leaving behind only the system. What the system is going to produce, they are going to implement that sections only. That is why there is this type of platform can provide an voice to the farmers through any of our extension services. And similarly, there are some of the other reasons like private extension increasing the staff professionalism also. Their staff are very professionals. They are working on particular subject matters are there. Their specialists are there. Those who are working providing specific advisories and specific input to the farmers, and that's why this type of private extension are taking part in our country. If you are going to talk about their advantages, this private extension is reducing the economic burden of the government, increasing the efficiency of government services, providing up to the satisfaction of the farmers, increasing accountability, etc. Which generally means they are providing us satisfiable services to the farmers, and these type of extension activities can reduce the burden on the government itself. These advantages are also there. This may hamper the free flow of information. Okay, what the government there is want, they are sending their messages, their invoices also, and whenever there are some other technology, they are recommending their particular technology. So this type of free flow of information can be hampered in the system. Farmers may be less interested to disseminate the technology itself. Only the commercial farmers may be benefited. Those who are especially working with private players, it may affect the research and extension of ecosystem, and sometimes the contact between the farmers and extension agent may get declined due to the promotion of particular vision and objective of that particular or private companies. If you're looking for options for funding and delivering extension, there are generally two sections of extensions are there. Firstly is private, and second is firstly is public, and second is private. So what type of funding can be provided by the public agencies? That government fund can be given to the extension agency providing services and training, and these public sector funding and delivery can be done by public itself. Otherwise, private player can also be done. But this public sector cost can be recovered by the can be recovered from private sector itself if they are not delivering. So what type of private delivery system can be happen that government that this private player they are generally focusing on producers associations to pay free or the tax to cover the cost of extension functionaries, means they are providing the paid services to the farmers. And this public extension in the part of delivery itself, they can put you to the they can put the private players for contracting in a contract based mode, or maybe providing subsidies to the producers to hire services directly, or providing some funding NGOs for the services for particular services. There are a number of NGOs who are working free to the for the public sector itself. So that's why we can say the public sector funding of external uh, sorry, the public sector is funding externally to the private agency itself. If you look into the examples of this privatization of extension, there are a number of sections which can be dealt. Like firstly, it has been started with input agencies extension. There are a number of good companies who are working in fertilizer sector itself. The major two companies who are working closely with the farmers are IFCO and CRIPCO company. There are two major cooperative fertilizer cooperatives, and they have established their ways to deal with the farmers, as CRIPCO has their own initiative. CRIPCO Kisan Sanchar Limited है. And after that, there are CRIPCO initiative, that is Gram Vikas Trust. Those who have been established as a legal entity for CRIPCO, and they are providing extension services, providing extension advisory services to the farmers with the basic objective to improve the socio-economic condition of the poor and marginalized section of the society, or you can say the farmer, and developing gender responsive participatory approaches, means there are some technology which are generally gender-based technology, and establishing village-based institutions. Village-based institution, it can be a panchayat, a well-decorated panchayat, or the farmers FPOs, the group FPOs, the Atma linkages program. These type of village-based institution can be formed, like for women itself, it can be established by SHGs. So this type of village-based institution they are going for, and majorly they are pointing as a change point for sustainable development. Maintaining partnership with the drivers stakeholders, they are working majorly on convergence mode with every corner of input delivery or advisory delivery institutions, and promoting and coordinating conduct applied research, and creating center of knowledge dissemination and sharing to the farmers. And then one of the finest company of India, that is Tata Chemical, who has come with an initiative for Tata Kisan Kendra, ITKs in 1998, with the objective to provide farmers with a package of input and services. Majorly, this model work as a hub and spoke model, providing every type of sorts of advisory services to the farmers. Now they are reaching around more than 22,000 villages in northern part of India. And the basic objective of this TKS was to enable and empower the farmers in creating and generating more value for the farmers, and producing and providing information on new and improved agronomic practices for better use of every input. Basically, you can say that they wants to enable our farmers, they want to empower our farmers, starting from the input purchase to their mere consumption of to their mere production of commodity itself, providing every sorts of advisories and input to the farmers, from starting from the sowing of the crops to the harvesting of the crops. So this model works as a hub and spoke model, collecting and disseminating information itself, And this TK center is a retail outlet and solution provider that caters to around 30 to 40 villages in a surrounding area. You can say, and you can say it is majorly a taluka level or a mandal level institution. The center run services about 30 odd resource centers like Tata Kisan Kendras, with each resource center looking after 70 to 80 TKR centers. And these services are means they are reaching to the lower level of the villages, providing means if any of the institution was reaching around 17 to 18 villages in in an area, that type of institution can reach and disseminate every type of technologies if they are reaching in every season to the farmers. So these type of horizontal model can be useful for the farmers and other for our extension functionaries also. So there are more number of experts are with them. They are providing every type of crop and farming based solutions. And now they have also been come with paid services, majorly based on ICT interventions. Coming to the agribusiness firms, there are you can you may have been gone through with this. This is the ITC model of Madhya Pradesh. You can this was launched by ITC company in 2000, and they have come with around more than 6,500 each of us, which are covering more than 4 million farmers. Majorly, they are working in these 10 states of Maharashtra, this Madhya Pradesh, Haryana, Uttarakhand, Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Kerala, and Tamil Nadu. They are providing majorly the services on this soybean, coffee, wheat, rice, pulses, and shrimps. And each by the pictures you can figure it out that there are the farmers at the center who has to receive different type of advisories are there. They have different type of resources for their income, like Prastataka and money lenders are there. That traders can be given that traders can give that particular commodity to any of traders and their brokers and processors. So there are a huge number of players are involved. So how this portion can be reduced and how this can be turned into a more profitable venture. So they have established an kiosk in the villages, and each kiosk is run by the local farmers, maybe the Sanchalak, those who have been selected and trained by the company itself, and the company provides the infrastructure for the each chopal. Infrastructure means the area of establishment that particular chopal and basic necessities like computer, internet, UPS system, solar panels, and internet connectivity through website. And Sanchalak provide the other expenditure, and they have to meet their operational expenditures by the company itself. And the producer could access information on cultivation practices, daily information on prices and prevailing in different markets and prices and the price offered by ITC itself. So this type of ITC, ICT platform can be a big changes for the farmers. Similarly, one of our greatest scientists of India, that is MS Swaminathan sir, in 1992, he came with the concept of village knowledge center. And what he said, like if farmers has to empower with all sorts of information, private, not the private, the public education system cannot reach at particular time for all the communities and for all the sections. So basically he came with the idea of $1 billion center for providing aggregation and reaching services to the farmer. So he has three levels on this. Basically this $1 billion center works on a block level center that providing training to the farmers and providing advisories to the community and implementation functionaries and through various extension methods. And provide this main MSSR of hub, which are generally responsible for data management and connectivity issues for the this program, and they are providing they are building the knowledge workers, knowledge assessors who can provide the knowledge to the farmers itself. So these were the major concept behind this village knowledge center. You have to empower your farmers, you have to build your resources yourself, and you have to be deal with every sections of the farmers, providing free of cost services to the farmers, reaching through mass media or reaching majorly through the ICT mediated services, maybe through mobile, cable TV network, interpersonal communication.
अच्छा आज
Oh, and then some of the leading private player extension that we call as now the farmers producer company, the organizations are coming with as a private extension company. Now, one of the leading example of this farmer producer company and organization, you can say the Sahyadri Farmers Producer Company Limited, majorly established in Nashik, that is in Maharashtra region of country, and that the present director is Mr. Vilas Shinde, and this company has been emerged as a role model for our producer organization, majorly as one of the finest example of private player extension. These some companies they have sub companies also, like Sayadri Agro Limited for grapes, pomegranate, other fruits, tomato, banana. In this, they have a limited company for every type of commodities which they are going to focus. They are majorly operating in 14 villages in the Nashik itself, and they have been extended to different districts of Maharashtra also. They are working for fruits and vegetables, and some part on this field crop also. They have added around more than 10,000 farmers under this company, and they have a farmland of around 25,000 acres. There you can see their pictures. They have every processing units, and they have retail center and in Mumbai, Pune, and Kolhapur in most of the part of Maharashtra itself. Then, when it comes to the consultancy part, there is one of the finest example of through consultancy, majorly through the government portion, that is Agri Clinical Agriculture Center, one of the finest example of this MADES, who has been instrumental for implementing this scheme, providing a training and boost up to the farmers, majorly to the young farmers who has been who can be a driver for agriculture for next 10 years, 12 years are the coming technologies. So these are the major private extension or public-private extension, you can say. So majorly the government, so the Department of Agriculture and Cooperation, Government of India has produced this managed institution, and managed institution has different type of this. They have produced a different type of nodal training institute for giving training to the rural youth and other sections of the farmers, and they are producing through this center and different type of entrepreneurs who can be undergone for training, project establishment, and through this program itself, they are providing the different type of funding itself to the farmers, and they can be emerged as an entrepreneur. So the basic objective of this program was to supplement the effort of government extension system and making available supplementary sources of input, supply, and services to the needy farmer, and to provide employment to the agricultural and graduates in new emerging areas of the sector. So this can come up with this has been came with an extraordinary responses to the agri community. Coming to the public-private partnership, what is this? And they generally ask for examination also that this public-private partnership it is nothing just a contractual agreement between public agency and private sector entity with a clear agreement on shared objective and delivery of benefits to that who will provide delivery and what type of assets they have to be used and what type of public sector to be involved, what type of things that can be shared by every sectors like public sector, private sector, and civil society itself. Civil society means the type of NGOs they are working in the areas. Why there was a need of this PPP in agriculture, this public-private partnership, because now if you are growing with the agriculture rate, they are now this is showing a slow growth rate of agriculture in India. So majorly our country is an agrarian-based country. So that's why they are slowing. They are showing the slow growth of agriculture in India itself, and then the major occupation under as farming. So and our country is second most populated country itself. So only one sector cannot define the growth of particular commodity. And recently there are development in hybrid and GMC digital mechanism itself, and there are a number of increase in the research and development. Those are not reaching to the every sections of the society, majorly to the farmers. And there is increase in the number of innovation and knowledge for the sustainable development, and some similarly which are contributing to the growing yield and use of quality seeds. So these type of regions are there which can be rectified through this public-private partnership in agriculture. What is their advantages? It can ensure the necessity your investment into public sector and can provide the more public resource management also. It can ensure the high quality and timely provisions of public services, utilization of sectoral core competencies of every subject itself, and it can enhance the technical effectiveness, cost sharing, and cost recovery for the government itself and for the farmers itself. And for the disadvantage, you can say that the infrastructure or services delivered would be high just because of intervention of some private sector and the what is their role and what are their cost services. So that can be high. Sometimes the payment obligation may delay. Okay, who is paying the payment? What type of things they are doing? If they are not paying on time, that can be hampered with the government itself. And there are some project agreement that can be a long term, that can be complicated also. And the lack of transparency is one of the most discussed problems related to the PPP model. One of the examples can be micro DBT model, which are working majorly providing input and execution services to the farmers. And IFCO IKSL model, this can be a very leading example. And the Hoshangabad model of PPP MP government for Dhanuka and Agro. Majorly, they are working on providing execution services, input services to the farmers on a paid basis. Coming to the market-led extension, it is an approach through which extension system will reach to the clientele on end-to-end basis, beginning from package practices to the production, or majorly reaching to the means you can call a system from production of particular commodity to consumption of its to the consumption of that particular commodity by its consumer by getting just the remunerative prices for the farmers. So, what are the basic objective of this market-led extension? This market-led extension can be used to identify the possible areas of interventions of extension in agricultural marketing. It can build up and use effective extension methodology. That what type of methodologies can be effective for need-based support to the farming communities. Especially all these are working on market itself. That's why this can be useful, and this can provide a linkage among researcher extension farmers extended by the market linkages. This can be a basic research area for applied science also can be used. So to identify and communicate innovations for the value addition practices and post-harvest technology can be done with market data extension itself, and sometimes it can be used to develop the network and action plan for extension, basically for supporting marketing of every products at different level. What can be the enhanced role of agricultural extension in light of market-led extension? That market-led extension can provide a SWOT analysis that what type of strength, weaknesses, opportunity, and threats in the market for going for particular commodity or if you are going for implementing some of your marketing skills, marketing innovation. So this can provide a SWOT analysis for your markets, and it can provide a platform for organization of these farmers interest groups on commodity basis itself, and supporting and enhancing the capacities of local established group. It can provide a platform for marketing and agro processing linkages for every farmers group. It can be used as a farming education tools for the farmers. It can be it can be popularized through internet facility, and it can produce a platform for interactive and communication skill for the farmers to exchange their values and their ideas on present market scenarios. So there are three-dimensional challenges for the market data extension. There are three sections of dimension. Firstly is production, the second is extension, and third is the market itself. So in production dimension itself, there are the seasonality of any of production is there. So basically, the markets runs on the seasonality of any type of produce, and the perishability of that particular product and the bulkiness of that particular commodities. So basically, in production, there are three sections: seasonality, perishability, and bulkiness of that particular product are produced. When I going for extension dimension, there are certainly the farmers and the market extension function is they lack on communication and the lack of credibility that what are the markets are there, what type of market prices they are giving, what type of market intelligence are there. And they are generally lacking with the insufficient information just due to the market intelligence by any good agencies. There are some market dimension also, like the lack of information about available market, where are the markets, what type of initiative can be taken, where I can sell the market, and there are some they lack generally in market intelligence, like what type of fluctuations are there in every sections of commodity, where these fluctuations from, what type of blood situation there in the market. So these type of intelligence that farmers are generally lack in their marketing skill. So these three dimensions can be useful for the market data extension. When you're going for market data extension, how can you characterize this? That here in market data extension, the farmers are considered as an entrepreneur. They focus on majorly on high return. They have been advised to diverse the package of practices so they can produce more, and their product can be sold in the market easily. And it majorly follow the group approaches so that every type of cost can be reduced, and they and majorly with market data extension, as you can say, it is synonymous of profit oriented extension. So it is majorly working on four principles, that essential principle. The first is, if there is no market, farmers should not be encouraged to produce a specific commodity. If you have not any particular market for any particular commodity, you should not produce that commodity. That's simple set. And in Maharashtra government also they have one scheme like विकल्प पिकेल means जिसका market है, when there is a market for particular commodity, you have to grow that commodity only. Otherwise, If you are going to diversify your particular commodity, if you have your powers to, if you have your guts to sell your particular commodity in other market, you can sell. But for farmers, those who have not this much this type of resources, they have to be advised to sell. They have to they have to be advised to grow those commodities which are basically going for consumption in nearest market. Second, if farmers cannot easily transport the product, such more promising products for easily markets are available. Those community for which the transport facility is available, you can go for those communities are the products. Third, if crop cannot be grown, search for alternate crop based on market. If you want to grow some crop which can be used for a market, then if that crop is not going for particular price in the market, you can search for any of alternate crops based on the market. Okay, some cauliflower is there. If you are not growing that particular cauliflower, you can grow for that broccoli also. That can provide a alternate to the that particular product itself. The fourth is to diversify into a variety of different high value crops that are suitable for different farmers interested in the district. So as much as you can use, as much as you can diversify your product, your profit orientation can be high. Just because of you are diversifying your product, various type of products that suited to your market. If they are available to your consumer, they will easily go for your products. There are some differences between private debt extension and market debt extension. Generally, that majorly this market debt extension, they have a purpose of enabling farmers to get optimal return of their enterprises. Majorly, they are focusing on high returns. Their farmers are seen as entrepreneurs, and they are majorly focusing on whole processes as enterprise, high return, rupees to rupees consumption. And whereas in public led extension, they are focusing seed to seed. And seed to seed means they are focusing whatever prices are there, you have to go with that. But in market led extension, they are with their market intelligence thing. They are counting every sort of involvement of their money and what type of return they can get. Technology, they are majorly focusing on diversifying their baskets of package of practices to develop a local farming community, and they are majorly working on licensing or linkages with farmers extension research extended by the market linkages or market intelligence. One of the innovative market-driven approaches given by Swanson 2019, that he said that whenever you are going to develop some market strategy for your product, you have to identify the innovative farmers who can be grow your product, and after that you can go to the farmers assessment that what type of commodities and markets are there for particular commodities. Then you can train your interested farmers who can be linked with your system, and you may organize them into producer organization, and similarly those producer organization itself can build a market share in the country. So this type of things can be adopted by a different type of agencies or the marketplace. Different concepts are coming in the market itself, like there is a concept of contact marking. Contact marking is, you know, that is a virtual contract between formal and informal agreement between the producer and the buyer. Okay, this type of commodities or this type of services you are going to provide, and on this rate or this type of quality parameter, we are going to purchase your particular commodities. So this type of contact farming are majorly working in the country itself. In Punjab, that is started with the PepsiCo model itself. And the basic objective was to contact farming. It works toward majorly to reducing the load of central central and state level procurement system that this system can provide a procurement system to the farmers, and increasing private sector in the investment in agricultural research. That earlier we were showing that agriculture is showing the slow growth. So the sectors need investment in different portions. So, if private players are coming, surely their investment can be increased in agriculture. So it can bring the market focus of crop selection by the Indian farmers. It can generate a steady source of income for the farmer. It can add employment to the rural community and other virtues. There are majorly into four models are there. Firstly is informal model, where mostly they have been tied on temporary and speculating of all these their production and marketing scenario. Okay, this much of things will be there, so we will collect, and this much of advisory will be provided to you, majorly because seasonal productions. So it is majorly linked with a small farm which can be majorly involved in seasonal production of any of community. So it can so these type of things can be provided, and some other facilities will also be provided, like minimum processing and packaging and vertical coordination with the other agency. The second is the intermediary model, which in this model, the buyer can get some contact on intermediary who formally or informally makes the contact with the farmers. Means there will be some agent who can be responsible for these. They are not involved directly, but they are producing some change agent are the agent who are going to contact with the farmers, and they can include some of the features like these intermediaries can providing and purchasing embedding services of the crops, working with well designed and incentive structures that can be adequately provided to the farmer. And additional advantages of vertical coordination and providing incentive to the farmers can also be rectified. Then there comes the multi-patent model. In this model is developed from centralized and nuclear state model and comprises of various organizations such as government, statutory body itself, private companies, financial institutions, and the different features can be like it can be that it can serve as a joint venture of if of any community on the parastate. Parastate will be the domestic or foreign investors for processing, vertical coordination depending on discussion of that particular firm. And the firm agreement complemented by the agreement with third party services provider. Like easily majorly a convergence model, like we say in generally when we talk about exchange, we talk about convergence model. Okay, some particular finance is required by the input and provided by this company, implementation by this, and some if something comes like processings are there, so that can be provided by other firms also. So this is the multi-party model of contact farming. Centralized and nuclear state model that it is not much important. There are some challenges. The challenges can be that we have seen that they have some set of parameters. If something happens due to the natural calamity, so in some cases farmers may suffer, as they can face the problem of late payment, also some low prices also maybe is due to pest attack and some other natural calamities. So these type of challenges is also there. So in policy support also, the APMCs can be strengthened, and the type of agreement can be made, and so the farmers can be provided their assured income. So if something happens, so they will not be responsible, but you have to be incurred some prices from the farmers itself. If someone is doing with their purpose, okay, I'm doing for this purpose only, some unethical practices is also there. So that portion can be rectified through the policy interventions. There are different types of this agricultural produce marketing regulations are there. They have been amended in different states also. So that can be one of the tools for sustaining our farmers through contact farming. There are some improved approaches for the private and market data extension. So the government has come with the ENAM portal where the farmers can do free trading of their products, particularly in linking market with the market intelligence. So presently, it is working in 18 states, covering around more than 1.25 lakhs of traders, commission agent now more than 70,000. And FPOs around now it is 826. Now they have gone to more than 1,000. Farmers around more than 2 crores itself, and they are reaching in every states of presently they are reaching most of the states of the country, and you can see there is a portal for this also. And by the time this can be useful for strengthening APMCs itself also. And in the meantime, when this COVID-19 lockdown was happened, this type of trading platform has done commendable job for the farmers. The recent concept of FPO, one of the finest example for end-to-end approaches for market-led execution and private player itself. Now they have come up with establishing around more than 15,000, 10,000 FPOs in the country. Government has come with this initiative, and these FPOs can provide different activities like input supply, financial and technical services, marketing, linking, trading, and networking for the different communities and for the different section of the farmers. So they are so presently the Madhya Pradesh is having highest number of FPCs in India, followed by Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, followed by Karnataka, Maharashtra, West Bengal, and Andhra Pradesh. You can see the figures of these FPOs. Coming to the Krishi Vigyan Kendra Knowledge Network, which are working to connect the farmers and providing advisory services, and what type of one of the leading district level organization was working with the farmers, with the ICAR and the line department, that is Krishi Vigyan Kendras, was majorly working on four type of things like the technology or adoption of India, frontline demonstration of technologies, capacity building of every sections of farmers and rural youth, and working at the knowledge and resource center, providing information and different type of technology inventory, and that ultimately leading to the sustainable agricultural development of the farming community, maybe through learning and application of particular technology for improving the livelihood of the farmers. So this is the website that these are providing a particular information on how these Krishi Vigyan Kendras are working, what is their new initiative, how you can contact them, what type of things they are doing, what type of demonstration they are doing, what the results have been shown, what type of new varieties are there, what type of new advisories are there. So this knowledge network has provided into innovative approaches for farmers. And similarly, there are some ICT interventions also, like farmers portals are there, Kisan call center, you can call it on 1800 itself. Agri markets are there. For maize, the expert system was developed by ISI itself, and Exoware, one of the expert system for wheat that has been developed by ISI New Delhi. Artificial intelligence, which, now this is coming as a future for farming itself, building everything on precision farming. And now presently the ITKs has also initiated the national program on AI to strengthen our farming community and to use every sort of input with minimal wastage, and that can be used for strengthening our farming community. Climate smart farming with a digital platform like whether smart farmers should be there. They can get the better forecast information, ICT, based agro advisories, climate and water smart is there. How that water can be used as a smart, carbon smart, and nitrogen smart, energy smart, and knowledge smart. So these type every particular commodities, like every particular natural calamities are things as there. So every sections can be built on particular technologies to strengthen a particular sector of knowledge and nitrogen and every source of natural resources. Climate smart villages can also be strengthened, can also be established. So that can provide a gender and social inclusion in the climate change adaptation. Now the government now the ICAR has also been come out with this MITRA project, that is National Innovation on Climate Resilient Agriculture, where the areas of climate affected districts and the areas are there where the climate smart technologies have been promoted through different agencies. The modern village system of extension approaches, that is the modern village. Every time we are doing and listening this to okay, our village is a modern village. What type of this modern village has to be developed with all sorts of activities, with all sorts of government intervention, and all sorts of an all-round development of the particular area, maybe in agriculture and allied sector also, and maybe the upliftment of socio-economic condition, technological empowerment, self-government itself, and the futuristic knowledge base for skill development. And this can emphasize on involvement of all the stakeholders to converge and to take this production to consumption basis. The other initiative can be the Krushi contribution, one of the finest example of showing the technologies to the farmers in the exhibitions, farmers malls, farmers field school, educating to the farmers and providing particular information on particular community in a one season area itself, and providing rural advisories through different agencies. Thank you. So the first part has been done. If you want to ask.
Dear participants, please unmute yourself and interact with the Sunil Kumar sir.
Hi, sir. Can I please ask a question?
Yes.
From this topic that you have just given, what are the possible, is there any possible questions like they may ask this kind of questions and stuff?
Yes, yes. They may ask the question about, they generally ask the question in mains examination, and in the beginning itself, I feel like there are some examples for public-private extension. They are asking for particular name of initiatives, like there are some ICT initiatives are there, and then who has done that particular initiative, and what are the features they are asking. Sometimes they are asking that particular question, like if they ask for each of us, they can ask for five number question itself, 10 number is question itself. So what are their origin, what are their methodology, what are their present need, what are the present reach, what type of crops they are working, who is the organization those are working with them, and some specific initiative they have taken from their organization, so they can be asked for examination. So this type of initiative, who has linked this, who has done this, what are the year, so these type of things can be asked. And majorly, if interviewer want to ask in the interview, they can ask rigorously on these topics. Okay, presently, what are the condition of your agricultural extension, and how can your extension, public extension, can be boosted, So these type of initiative like privatization of extension, PPP model, contact farming, and these innovative approaches can be used for strengthening our extension and providing yeah, advisories to the farmers at their farm level and maybe on commodity basis itself.
Thank you, sir.
Anybody?
Good morning, sir.
Yes.
Sir, I wanted to ask, is there any particular website that you go through to collect some different information that you have mentioned, like apart from Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfares or ICAR, IRI website? Do you have any particular name of the website that you go through or any journal?
Presently, there is no particular website where you can get all this information. You can the major initiative that are taken by the government itself that you can go by this their website itself. Otherwise, every time there are some this IAS examination portals or websites are there. Like Insights is there, some other. They are always going for collecting some information. So their website you can visit also. Otherwise, by the time there are a number of books who are coming on this topic. So they are every time they are compiling with the new facts. So by the 6 month or 3 months, you can visit your nearest bookstore. Maybe in the Pusa itself, they are coming with the new book. So there you can see some of the if some new books have come, so they have been compiled. So there is no particular website for compiling and all these information and getting just at one click. You have to search and you have to be you have to be in touch with your system itself or the mobile itself.
Thank you, sir.
Can you name some books on this topic? Oh, there is a Mandal book that is Innovation in Agriculture that you can read. This is providing all sorts of information, majorly on market edition, private extension. So innovation book is there for Mandal. You can go by this book also. And I would suggest rather to going that particular book, you can go for handbook of agricultural extension. That is a very good compilation of any of topic of extension. If you have a time, you can read. You can read that particular portion. I would suggest every extension fraternity, every extension student to read that handbook of extension. That is very good compilation of your extension. Any of your extension methodology, any of extension initiative, and basically the basics of your extension. And it is very cheap, around I would say around 700 to 800 rupees it is available.
Hello. Hello.
Any question?
Hello, sir.
Vishal?
Good morning,
You
sir.
want to ask any question?
Yes, sir. I want to ask related to market lead extension versus
What market
producer
extension? What?
sir, farmer producer organization.
Yeah.
If I think, sir, more similarity, sir, in between market lead extension and farmer producer organizations.
I'm not getting your question. What you are asking particularly?
Sir,
If you can raise your voice.
Sir, FPO versus market lead extension. FPOs versus, sir, farmer producer organization versus market lead extension, sir.
Okay. See, market lead extension is a extension approach. It includes all sorts of intervention which are going majorly to affect the markets. Market lead extension is an approach. It is not a particular initiative. market-led extension include your ICT intervention also, farmers producer organization itself also, APMC, everything it includes. It is a whole concept of marketing. Farmers producer organization is a part of this market-led initiative.
Okay.
Hello. So I think we can go for second topic.
Yes, sir.
Sir, Manoj, can we go for second topic? So now we are going for second topic, that is identification, characterization, documentation, and validation of ITKs. So the second topic that is related majorly on ITKs and some issues of IPR. So what is this ITK? How this has gained popularity in the recent year? There was one conference in 1992 in the United Nations Conference on Environment and Education. There, this concept of this ITK was come up, and there are some other indigenous knowledge where this seminar and workshops are there. They have talked about this indigenous technical knowledge. So, these are some of the this conferences and seminars. How this indigenous knowledge system works, what is their practices. So you can say the indigenous technical knowledge ITK is the accumulated skill and technology of locality, of particular locality or a community that has been passed on from one generation to another. This majorly a knowledge of particular community who are working especially on their crops, how they have developed their skill, maybe through their ancestry they have gone that information and they are implementing and they are getting good yields and good profit on that knowledge itself. So this traditional knowledge generally a local knowledge which are generally a people science or you can say a farmer science generally going for rural people knowledge. Those are those if a particular farmer is doing ultimately if that particular technology is showing some good growth and result, ultimately your other farmers they are going to adopt in particular commodity itself. And it can be an ecology. Ecology means there are some human interventions are there for particular ecology and particular commodity to trade. So that way it is called as ecology, and that are converting into some indigenous technical knowledge. So these are the basics for them. How this is can be called what is this IK, what is IKS, and what is ITK? Indigenous knowledge is the participant knowledge of their own temporal and social history, and it is just a knowledge of the people. So this ITK it's not necessary that if that particular ITK is working in one condition, it can produce the same result in other condition also. It is not necessary. And there are some other terminologies also like indigenous knowledge system. What is this? This is related to a cognitive structure, means behavioral structures in which theories and perception of nature and cultures are conceptualized. It can include the definitions, classification, and concepts of physical, natural, social, economic, and ideational environment. And this majorly a system of all your indigenous knowledge. And what is this ITK itself, indigenous technical knowledge? It is specifically concerned with the actual application of the thinking of local people in various operations of agriculture and allied area. The Greener has defined this indigenous knowledge is the traditional knowledge of local community existing within and developed around a specific condition of women and men indigenous to a particular geographical area. I said there are three things, that it is the local knowledge of a particular community and developed by the community itself and majorly confined to a geographical area. So these are the three things related to indigenous technical knowledge. Basu, one of the another scientist who has developed his definition, he said that indigenous knowledge is not confined to the tribal groups of original inhabitant of area. It is not confined to the rural people, rather any community processing. But it is not only because he said that when we said this term of indigenous technical knowledge, people generally imagine that the knowledge which has been mainly remained with the tribal community. It is not like that. Any of community who are working in the agriculture sector, who has their particular practices that can be used as a ITK for particular community. If somebody wants to replicate that knowledge in that location, they may find it they may find it as a useful. It is not necessary that may be useful, but they may find it as a useful. Why ITK is needed? Because ITKs are majorly are eco-friendly. They are not using, because these are people's choices of doing their things based on their local resources itself. That is why it is eco-friendly and it is sustainable and time-tested, because it has been tested through many of the generation itself, and it can provide several reports on insect-based development itself, and it can be used. It can be used for degradation of natural enemies. It can provide information for secondary pest outbreaks also. It can be used for controlling environmental pollution. It can be used for reducing the input cost of cultivation, and due to the adaptability and the exposure to the farmers, that can be their adaptability can be high, and they may form their structures compatible with their ecosystem and social system itself. How ITKs were developed? They may be developed by the trial and error method. They may be developed by the selection itself. They may be developed by the experience of the particular farmers in their particular community, and they may be developed living in the ecosystem. So if you are observing something, okay, if this plant has come, so other insects, they are not coming. They can be used for they can be used as a trap crop, as a prevention crop for many of the crops. Many technologies, but unfortunately, these malfunctions has always been doing by the scientists, or you can say from other agencies, that they are taking that particular ITK and they are implementing with their name, they are giving their name. So that particular commodity or the particular farmers, they have been not recognized for ITK. So this malfunction should not happen. Okay, there are some sources for the ITKs also, like farmers itself. The biggest sources of the ITKs, community leaders can be the sources, and folklores that generally that when the women who are transplanting the rice or any crop. They are generally sings many of the they generally sing many of the song. That song had itself many of the information according to that season, that cropping pattern itself, what type of things they should learn, they should do. So these folklores are there, providing any sorts of information. Songs and poetry has been retained on different ITKs itself. There are ancient records which have been recorded by our Vedas also. There are a number of NGOs who are working, like Pradhan is working, there's Ari Gupta Foundation who are working on family model. They have been instrumental for developing and capturing these ITKs. Agencies are there who are working closely with the farmers, and there are many ITKs were being published in many languages by the different agency and the farmers itself. There are certainly there are differences on scientific line of your knowledge, maybe the traditional knowledge, maybe the scientific knowledge. Traditional knowledge research all has been done through trial and error methods. They have been recording things through large time. They have been they are including every sorts of they are developing as a holistic approaches for the farming community. They have been used by the long time in different communities. So long term testing and results are there. So these type of things are there, and scientific system even so that it is majorly based on control and error methods. Okay, some experiment are there, some control methods are there, experiment methods are there, what type of diseases are there, their knowledge have been tested through these, and all sorts of after picking all sorts of information, their knowledge is very coming, and they may sometimes show some different results in trial in some actual implementation also. And this is the sorts of differences that are being mentioned on traditional knowledge system and scientific system. What are the characteristics of ITKs? ITKs are generally dynamic. They are not static. They are always be changing through the time, and there are some indigenous knowledge and indigenous creativity bring changes to the system. And ITK are intuitive in its mode of thinking, how the peoples are thinking about particular things that has been provided as a ITKs, and ITKs is mainly qualitative in nature. They are not in quantitative nature. And ITK need a study of development of majorly in holistic approaches. Holistic approaches means from the selection of particular seeds to the harvesting of particular commodity, how it has been developed, what type of things was implemented, what sorts of things, what type of local intervention was done. So that's why there, when you're going to complete documentation of any of the things or intervention in a holistic way, so there comes the different ITKs will come as a unique identity. So this ITK can be tapped, can be provide valuable insight into resources and the problem in particular area. It can be recorded and transferred to the oral tradition. It can be learned through observation and hands-on experiences. ITK forms an information base for any of varieties or every sorts of interventions for the farming community, and it can reflect the local tradition. Okay, that particular suppose there are some crops for rice. So rice majorly grown in every section, every part of India. So what type of local particular seed treatment is done by the particular community that may not be similar for the other sections of for the other district or other state of country. So that is why it reflects the local tradition. Okay, this particular intervention majorly for rice treatment or other seed treatment is done in this particular area itself. So there are some classes of ITKs. Maybe it may be related to the climatology, it may be related to the soil and taxonomy, soil fertility, plant protection, post harvest, agronomic practices, and irrigation and water management. But I think the most part in ITK has been built on plant protection and post harvesting that are generally coming with the records. The role of ITK, the ITKs can provide add to the developmental efforts of any community or community, and ITK can facilitate local people participation, though it belongs to that particular community, and they have a very time testing knowledge of the ITK. And ITK can be a valuable sources for developing appropriate technologies also. Okay, based on this, okay, they have used this particular community or these particular ingredients to overcome this problem. So, what is the reason behind to use that particular ingredients? Like in organic farming, we are using Jivamol, they are using different type of products to making that organic import. So what are the basics for using that particular ingredients for for building that particular organic inputs? So that particular ingredient can be tested through lab. So what type of ingredients are and the quality parameters are the nutrient parameters they have. So that scientific development can happen through this ITK. Scope of ITK analysis, it can bring a new changes to the biological and ecological insights of the scientists also and the researcher itself, and it can be used for resource management, maybe water, seed, input, and different resources, and then it can be used for protected areas and conservation education. It can be used for development planning of particular community or community. It can be used as an environmental assessment tool. Okay, so what type of harms can be done by the ITK and what type of harms can be done by the chemical input itself. So this can be used for environmental assessment. There are some methods and techniques for identification and collection of ITK. So majorly the first can be the documentation of the oral histories can be done. A Delphi method techniques which are developed by Olaf Helmer, which can be used because there are a number of experts who are giving their judgments on 2 to 3 rounds. So this can be used for ITK, and agro-system analysis can be used, like they can be built on different mapping of areas can be done, like ecological or social resource mapping, signal mapping, spatial and level mapping can also be done to identify the particular ITK. Transit walk means you are walking through your particular villages to seeing the various vegetation, natural practices, and the social arrangement of the villages. So that transit walks can be done. Manual discriminative analysis can also be done. Okay, so these type of things are there. You can ask the farmers to discriminate the practices and finding of personality based on some particular observations. Decision tree analysis can be used, and you can use the local resource person and some economic testing is also there. Critical incident method can be used. Okay, some farmers instances that the seed was happened. Okay, some new variety was introduced. So what type of changes was observed? What type of incidents of pest was there before and after testing can also be done. So the before, what was the practices was adopted, and after the introduction of particular variety, what was the intervention was done. So there are a number of practices which can be done for the identification and collection of ITK. Like there are local taxonomy there here and some method, crop histories are there, several methods are there. In-depth interview of particular farmers can be done for the documentation of ITKs. ITKs collection can be done through interaction with the leaders, rural appraisals like PRA and RRA can be done, case studies, histories can be recorded, interview methods can be used, full brainstorming where the green and registration can be used for collecting information on ITK, group discussion and field surveys and others extension methods can be used. Methods can be used for ITK like for survey, RRA, PRA, observational documentary evidences can be used for validating ITK and assessing the ITK for scientific logical. There you can do the surveys based on scientific line, laboratory analysis and on-farm testing of particular technology or suits can be done. And for refining the ITK for increasing the applicability of wider skill, it can be done through input to the research agency on-farm research, farmer participatory research, or maybe through laboratory studies can be done. If you are going to protect and validate the refined ITKs, it can be used through legalizing these ITKs and ensuring their ownership to the particular community. And if you're going to promote and use to validate and define the ITKs, so there can be use a media mix approaches and integrating indigenous network, publicizing and rewarding. So these work are majorly, so this use of media mix they are majorly doing by the one of the leading NGOs in ITKs development, that is Honeybee structure developed by Ali Gupta sir. Nawal, he's been working on documentation of these ITKs. Scientific validation can be done, like you can prepare you can prepare a checklist for ITK practices. Then you can decide the rating continuum for a specific weightage, like it is very rational, rational decided, and very irrational by the expert in that particular crop or the practices which you are going to evaluate. And you can send the list of ITKs practices to the expert for the opinion and judgment on each practices. There you can use this Likert scale also. You can use the expert opinion. You can use the Delphi technique also. And you can calculate the weighted mean of particular individual practices. There are different number of weighing means are there. You can use to evaluate their rationality. And then you can select the practices who are above the mean score level as rational. That these are the most rationalized practices for particular communities or communities. Then you can go for indigenous technology map can be formed. Okay. Some suppose there on the left you can see if there is some termite controlling happen. So what sorts of activities or what sort of practices they are using? The particular community said we are using the leaves. We are buried that leaves into the soil, so that termite control can be happen. If you are using if there are some problem of EFMD, so how it can be used? So they are using half liter of water, and they are using some teak wood, their extract, they are using some kerosene oil, using some jawar plant. So they have some specific practices for specific issues. So this indigenous technology map can also be drawn. So considering this ITK, the one mission mode project on collaboration and documentation of indigenous technical knowledge was launched by ICAR in 2000 under the NATP project, that is National Agriculture Technology Project, to majorly with the following objective of identifying, collecting, and classifying the documented ITKs in its variant form, maybe the agroclimatic conditions, maybe related to the radio production system, farming system, and the different agroecological situations. It may prepare, they may prepare a catalog and analyze the information for developing a database for ITKs. And they can ascertain the propensity of the extent and the level of use of various ITKs with the farmers in the management of various farming community system, and validation of ITK through quick screening method and through formal screening itself. Formal experimentation wherever it is needed. it can evolve as a mechanism to protect proprietary rights and facilitate the process of sharing the benefits by the farming community. So these were the major objective of launching this particular mission on collecting documentation and validation of indigenous technical knowledge by the ICAR in 2000 under NATP project. There are some issues related to the globalization itself. That globalization, you can say, the LPC's era, we can say, one of the our Prime Minister of India, Sri Manmohan Singh Ji, who has introduced LPG policies in India, where all these private players can play their role. They can the investment can be increased through FDI also and other section also. So the Indian economy, when this was introduced in 1991, the India was suffering with the major crisis of foreign currencies, which has down to 1 billion around. There was a recession at that time itself. So the Prime Minister of India, so at that time, the Finance Minister Manmohan Singh was come with this LPG policy of liberalization, privatization, and globalization. So he has done these LPG policies majorly to liberalize the economy with the following benefits, like it can be it can help in devaluation to solve the balance of payment problem in Indian currency, which was devaluated by 18 to 9%. This investment was happened. So to make the LPG model smooth, many of the public sector are sold to the private sector. So at that time happened and allowing foreign direct investment, that is FDI, on a wider range to the sectors such as insurance, defense, and other service sectors also. NRI scheme was also introduced to invest to make an investment from our NRI in India. Different agencies were hired and different things was done. The facilities which were available to the foreign investments were also given to the NRIs to make heavy investment in India, so that our so that India can sustain the bigger market and their currency. So the Indian rupees can be strong. So these things were introduced in 1991 by Manmohan Singh Ji as a part of globalization. There were some consequences of this globalization also to majorly this was done majorly to intensify the interdependence and competition with the economies in the world market, so India can sustain their products in the world market, and this globalization can help in formulating and evaluating its domestic policy, and that can afford majorly to that can afford majorly to produce the possible actions and reactions to the policies, majorly to the development initiative. These constant in the policy options available to the government, which employs loss of policy and autonomy. 1 minute. So this was the major consequences, and there was an impact of this globalization also on agriculture. Globalization has helped in raising living standard of the people, and it has helped in elevating poverty itself and assuring the food security of our country, generating market for the expansion of industry and services. It can be used for it has been used for making a substantial contribution to the national economic growth. So this has helped to India to recover from this devaluation and sustaining in the market. Advantage I also did. So there are some challenges also. There was some outsourcing of jobs to the developing countries has resulted in the loss of jobs in the developed country. So major things happen like due to the investment increase in India, most of our people, those who are working in developed countries, they came back to our country and they were provided good remuneration in their job. And there is a greater threat to the spread of communicable diseases also. Now you can see now we are seeing this line as an example of COVID-19. There is an underlying threat of multinational corporation with the immense power ruling the globe. So as you can see, the major countries are running by the businessman itself in the country of India. You can say also there are some 20 billionaire millionaires are there who are ruling the world itself, who are ruling the India in contributing in every sectors and getting all sorts of money from every their initiative, maybe the Reliance, maybe the other companies who are working, maybe the Adani groups is also there. So they may rule in the future itself. For a smaller developing nation at the receiving end, it could indirectly lead to the substantial of colonization. So this colonization can happen, and the number of rural landless families can be increased due to this globalization policies. Coming to some IPR issues, why it is needed, because it's given a credit to particular community, a particular person who has that particular right of any of technology, any of intervention, that what was the basic observation or basic objective behind developing that particular technology or intervention. And this is majorly to conserve the rules and the rights of that particular organization. Their violation should not be happen. So the government has come with this intellectual property rights. This may happen in ITK or ITK case also, where that particular community is having the rights for implementing any type of knowledge particular to that community or community itself. So this can help with this community to record their particular intervention or innovations developed by that particular community or the human being. So in Article 27 itself, 27 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, it said that that it provides the right to benefit from the protection of moral and material interest resulting from authorship of scientific literacy or the artistic production itself. So these ITKs are very important for the sections of the society. Those who are working in development of any technology or innovation. The apparent importance of intellectual property was first recognized in Paris Convention of Protection of Industrial Property in 1883. That's what happened. And in Berne Convention of Protection of Literacy and Artistic Works in 1886. Both treaties are administered by the World Intellectual Property Organization, that is WIPO. So the intellectual properties are customized into two main areas. First is a copyright and right related to the copyright. Copyrights and the rights related to the copyrights. The rights of authors of literacy or any artistic work such as book, music, composition, painting, or any of things can be protected by the copyright for a minimum period of 50 years after the death or after the death of the authors. Second can be happen like industrial property. Industrial property can be divided into two main areas, like protection of distinctive signs, in particular trademarks and geographical indications. Now the government has also come with geographical indicators for justifying and giving credits to the particular communities developed by the particular area in geographical area itself. There are you can be hearing by there are some mangoes from particular area who was famous for this. There are some artisans work out there. They are particularly going for this. As you can say, there are Vada Pav is famous in Maharashtra. They have their trademark. Rasgulla is famous in Odisha and this West Bengal. You can see there are different types of food and beverages are there. Those are related to particular states itself. So when you are going for industrial competition, there are some trademarks. Like there are the trademark of every company. They have their trademarks. They have their logos. So that cannot be used by other companies to sell and doing other things. So the trademark geographical indicators can be used to protect the rights of the that particular firm or the company. What is the need of IPR? As we have discussed, it is majorly to encourage the innovation. If my innovation is secure, I will be able to develop more of innovation. So it can encourage the innovation. It can grow. It can help in economic growth of particular commodity or particular sector. It can safeguard the right of the creator, so he can be motivated to do the new thing. It can ensure innovation and creativity and ensure the age of doing businesses. Right now, every country, not the world is talking about the age of doing businesses. This now the ranking is also been coming for states, countries, and the world also. So it can facilitate in doing the business, and it can facilitate the transfer of technology in the form of foreign direct investment in the joint venture and licensing. National IPR policy in India in 2016 it was promulgated. It has mainly documented for the future guideline for IPR in the country. It has a majorly a trademark, or you can say the major line of creating India, innovating India. Innovative India, creative India, innovative India. That was the first line of that national IPR policy. And it can encompass and bring to a single platform for all the IPRs, taking into account all the interlinkages, and aim to promote and create more of synergies between the intellectual properties and concerned strategy and organization. It can be held as it can be established as a institutional mechanism for implementing different monitoring and review system for IPR, and a different Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion (DIPP) under the Ministry of Commerce and Government of India has been established and appointed the nodal department for coordinating and guiding the overseas implementation of these IPR policies in India. And there are some cell for IPR promotion and management also, CIPM, all set up under the aegis of the DIPP. Means this that's the Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion to be a single point of reference for implementation and objective of national IPR policy. So majorly, this national IPR policy is working to conserve the rights of every new innovations and every commodities which have been registered as an innovation, and this can be combined to the WTO element of trade-related aspect or intellectual property, and that is called as TRIPS communication. What are the issues in India IPR regime? There are under this there are section 3, that is under D, that is registered as a Indian Patent Act 1970 that has been amended in 2005. That says that it does not allow the patent to be granted to the inventions involving new form of known substances unless it is different significantly in property with regard to its efficacy. Means something which has not been which is registered has been new, it should be different from the existing innovation, so that then only that particular patent can be given to that innovation. This means that this Indian Patent Act does not allow the ever beginning of patent. It is allowing majorly to register the innovations which are significant in its efficacy. And there are some rules and bindings to this IPR regime. There are some issues of compulsory licensing to them. This can be granted by the government entity, and this can be permitted on WTO TRIPS agreement itself. That can provide conditions for national emergency, other circumstances of extreme urgency, and anti-competitive practices are fulfilled. So there are some violations also in this. So in the latest report of 301 report, it has been released by United States Trade Representative. They said that one of the world's most challenging, most economies with respect to the protection of right of IPR, they said that they have been seeing the violations of the intellectual property rights itself. And the other things can be done like data executability can be done through MNC. There's most favored nations. There is one association of nations that they call for investment. That most favoring nations they have this data. They use this as a data executability for the different agrochemical products. There is a enforcement of the Copyright Act is a weak, and that can be strengthened through these IPR issues and TRIPS communication. Thank you. So
Thank you, sir. And dear participants, please interact with the sir if you have any questions or doubts.
So there are a number of issues now presently there due to the changing system of this nations, the IPR issues and some global LPG issues have also been modified in the recent times. So there are some questions can be asked like what type of issues are there, and what are the major institutions who are working in this like there are MNCs are there. What are these MNCs? What are the trademarks that happen? There are some two things also they can ask. That is agreement on agriculture. That I'm not. There are some boxes are there. They have been amber boxes, blue boxes, white boxes. So what type of trade can be happen on agriculture itself and other commodity? That as you mentioned on that boxes, that amber boxes there, blue boxes are there, agreement boxes there. So you can go through on that portion. And in the innovation book of Mandal itself, they have been mentioned on these issues. So if you want to if you want to go with this time, you can go that book also. That will be useful for you. And some part of this have been mentioned in this GL book of Extension Communication and Management itself. So some part of this iterations has also been mentioned there.